Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the Everton versus Aston Villa match reaction. Everton 0, Aston Villa 2. It was a bit of a difficult game to take, really, from what I've seen. 2-0 defeat where it looks like we had a majority of the chances, really. It really looks like one of those games where, unfortunately, us not signing a striker in January has come back to bite us on the arse, really. So I think it's one of those where it's an interesting game to look at, and it is going to be a bit of a shorter stream today, but we're going to be here for about half an hour and mainly focus on what happened in the game and focus on everyone's reactions in the comments. But yeah, it's a thing with Villa. We never seem to be able to beat Villa. Inky puts it here. Why can we not beat Villa? I feel like I don't think we've beat them since they've got promoted. So, I know that was paying a factor into a lot of people's predictions. I think I predicted a 2-1 win. But again, it's just we need, like Inky again. Inky puts here and beats me to it. We just can't beat them. Some positives, but we need a goal scorer. Neil Maupay is unfortunately not that goal scorer, and I don't really know what was expected going into the game. Constantly crossing the ball when they've got Konza and Mings. Mings especially, who's a big aerial threat, is really going to hurt us. And it's one of those where I think it was Terry McAllister put it on Twitter. This game isn't going to send us down, just like last game wasn't going to keep us up. So it's one of those things where I don't just want to harp on something and say, well, this is going to happen now that this game's happened. Because for all we know, it's Everton. We're one of those teams where, knowing us, we'll go beat Arsenal next week. We'll survive, we'll get it, and then we'll go down on the last season because we lose 5-2 to Bournemouth again, like we did in that of the season where they were already relegated and then they still beat us. But yeah, I think it's a game where I don't want to harp too much on the team performance because I don't think it was bad, but it feels like not having a goal scorer really let us down. I feel like it was one of those where if we had CalvertLewin, we may have nicked. We had a goal scorer signed in January, which we should have done. We nicked it. I think if I do a quick look here when my laptop decides to start working again, this is the game. This is what happened. As you can see, it looked like a 4-1-4-1. Oh, that's what it's saying, but it was a 4-5. It's weird with Dyche, I mean, Inky puts here, while I was going to talk about 15 shots, 5 on target, 0 goal. Says anything, had a goal cleared off the line again as well in back-to-back weeks. But it just comes across like there was, like the game plan doesn't suit a striker like Neil Maupay, and I don't want to give Neil Maupay any credit because, I don't, his form, it's Brighton score goals for fun and he couldn't score for Brighton, really. So it's one of those where you look at it and go, well, is it really the club that was the problem? No, I think it was the player. And yeah, I think we saw some good performances. I think Jordan Pickford made an absolutely wonderful save. The one from, I think it was an Ollie Watkins header. An absolutely unbelievable save. But, I think we just got unlucky, really. And I think if you look at the players who performed for Villa, a lot of defensive good performances, and Ollie Watkins scored, and according to SofaScore, wasn't very good. Which I don't know if I agree with that. I think he had a lot of chances, and I think that's the type of striker Ollie Watkins is, though. Maupay, there we go. Wait a minute, Inky. Maupay works in a through ball system. Neither Frank or Dyche play that, but then again, what choices Dyche got? Well, that's it. It's either Ellis Sims, who, to be completely honest, was unproven in the Championship, and then Neil Maupay, who at least has the Premier League experience. So I understand why Dyche is picking Maupay. And I think, again, it's just unfortunate. I just don't understand why a striker wasn't signed. Or, no offense to Maupay, I even think Solomon Rondon would have suited the system so much more. So it's one of those where you look at it and go, with the personnel we've got in hand, why are we trying to play a system where this just isn't going to work? Dat Boy puts, I think we should try 4-4-2. It depends, because I think I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think the midfielders have looked quite well. The midfield three of Gay, Onana, Doucouré, in, not every game they haven't looked fantastic, but they've looked good in spells. And I think then would it be unfair on them to just push them out? Irwin and McNeil Irwin and Inky, both complimenting McNeil's performance. And I think McNeil he was fantastic once again. I think he's a player who's really started to step up in these last few games, and his crosses, they're not the most accurate. Don't get me wrong. I think I did mention his cross accuracy last week and saying it needs to improve. Did we see an improvement this week? Didn't exactly count the amount of crosses he completed, but am I blind? I mean, yeah, there you go. 13 and 4, it's an improvement on last week. So again, it's like you just look at it and you go, and then Inky puts here, I think Dyche could have actually got some out of Rondon. You never know. He might have been out in the ass under holiday. Rondon would miss 3 sets, doesn't get tired within 5 minutes. You say that, mate, but at least Rondon would have been able to head the ball. I'm not going to overreact with these bottom. Exactly. I think it's like last season, mate. I think it's one of those where the bottom three is going to constantly change. I think 20th and 19th are practically, I think they're going to stay set. But I think our position with us, Leeds, I can even see Alice dropping down. I could see Forest dropping down after their performance against West Ham. West Ham themselves, there you go. Mike, who's a Villa fan, puts this. Villa fan, don't think you can go down with that talent in that fight. I don't feel good about Cody in a 2. He seemed like your obvious weak link. Good luck. I think that's it. And I think I don't know if Yerry Mina's fit, isn't he? Because no offense to Cody, and I know last week I said I would sign Connor Cody, and I am going to stick by that. I'm going to stick by the fact that I think Connor Cody should still be signed because in the end, for 4.5 million, he's a much better player than Michael Keane, a much better player than Mason Holgate, and then in the end, I think you've got to at least have one backup for each position. So Tarkowski, I could see Mina going as well with the wages Mina's on as well. So Tarkowski, Cody, Bramthwaite, and then Mina or possibly another new centre back. I don't know if I'm missing any. Godfrey, sorry. Then yeah, it doesn't really surprise me that we will sign. And again, 4.5 million. It depends on the budget we have. If someone says you've got 20 million to spend, then don't spend 4.5 million on Cody. But I'm hoping that there is going to be some money there to spend and give Dash a chance. Mina's linked with Marseille in the summer. There you go. I can't see him staying if a club that's going to get Champions League is going to come in for him. I think it's one of those. It's a difficult one because I think, again, it's a decent striker wins us that game. A decent striker scores the chances when they're given them. And, all of a sudden then we're probably maybe not in a position where just gives away that penalty. Or, there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of the butterfly effect, but I just don't know about. I think we will survive it. I do. I think Leeds are worse than us. I don't think beating Southampton proves anything, to be honest. I do think Leeds are a worse team than us. They missed so many sitters against Southampton. We beat them comfortably. I think it's one of those where, and I think Leeds have got quite a difficult run of fixture. I don't think we. Well, there you go, Toby. But I think it was a big thing on Twitter where people were like, "No, we can't sign Connor Cody." Let's be fair. There won't be a whole lot of money to spend, regardless of what division they're in. Yeah, I hope these first half. There we go. Pop. First half, everyone fantastic, but if not for Pickford, Ollie Watkins scores a hat trick. When Day was fantastic when he came on, totally changed the game for us. Yeah, I think so, and I think us taking Alex Iwobi off was a big mistake as well. So I think it's one of those where it's a difficult one, really, but it's a strike. Again, a striker changes it, and even a striker does change that game. But I hope DCL isn't interested in the football the way I fear. If he still was playing a get fit, you'll have no good. I think you bang on. I think it's. I'm just going to put. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm just going to leave that there for a few seconds. But it's one of those where, yeah, I think it's a weird one, and I think if you look at the overall performance of the game, I think there is positives to take, and I think I think it's one of those where I wonder what we are going to do. Are we going to play Sims and Morpay? Are we going to play Morpay and DCL when DCL comes back? Are we going to play? Is the plan? Villa have a lot of money as well. I feel saying that though. I mean, I'll have to have a look at our lineup again, but saying. I mean, we've got £30 million Alex Iwobi, £35 million Amadou Onana, 20 million Dwight McNeil, 20 million Vitaly Mikalenko, 20 million Jordan Pickford. I know Villa have spent a lot of money, but so have we really. So it's one of those where I think it's one where using, and I know obviously the manager and stuff, but like I said, it's one of those games. Villa took the chances, and that's in the end, that's what teams with a decent striker do. I think Ollie Watkins is. I think he misses a lot of chances, but again, I think Ollie Watkins, even though he does miss chances, I think Ollie Watkins also is in a similar one of those chance magnet players where he will score 1 or 2 a game because he's getting so many chances and because his runs and his positioning is so good that he can get in. And I think that'd be a player that'd be perfect for us. I think, I really think we, no matter what, have to sign a striker in the summer. I don't care if Calvert-Lewin comes back and scores 15 in the last few games, because we can't rely on him to stay fit, and we can't rely on players like Ellie Sims, who's too young, and or not even too young, just too inexperienced in the Premier League, or Morpay, who just doesn't fit the system or just isn't good enough. I think you look at it and go, well, that's the situation at play, really. I think. Like I said, I don't want to harp on like it was a terrible performance, because we weren't bad. And if we go back to the game, like I said, I don't think we were bad at all, really. If we have a look at the stats, I think if I can scroll down a little bit, if we have a look at the stats here, they beat us by expected goals, but I'm not the biggest expected goals fan myself, to be honest with you, but they beat us by 0.01 with a penalty. So I think it really sums up that we had a good game. You look at the shots, the shot, a lot of a lot of the Villa chances came towards the end of the game, and that was because Villa saw us open up and took the chances. That's what a smart manager does. He noticed a change in how Everton wanted to play, because everyone wanted to go for it, and they picked us apart because of it. Again, what good managers do. Inky puts, we need at least 2 strikers, 1 winger, at least a left back and a centre back for me. Probably, but are we going to get given the money to spend? That's the question. And I think that is the issue that we're coming along with here. That are we actually going to get given the money to spend on these players in a situation? But again, I think is Calvert-Lewin training again? I can't see him being back for. Is he back for Arsenal? Is it that? I think because we don't play Arsenal for a week now, do we? I think we've got a week off. Is he back in time for Arsenal? Is he going to really risk playing him in a game where, let's face it, does he think we're going to pick up points? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a thing where Calvert-Lewin we're going to have to rely on him to stay up, and I think he's a very good player, but he's in the end with his injury record, he's not reliable, and that's the only problem that we're in. And I think we needed to take that punt in January. I definitely think there was a striker we could have taken. I don't think the club has any excuse, to be completely honest with you. I think there would have definitely been someone for a fee and or loan available. It was 15 million for Danny Ings from Villa. That's all they paid. I'm pretty sure we had that much. Well, we did. Anthony Gordon was leaving, and it's one of those where, I mean, that boy puts it up. Leeds as the same manager that got whipped 8-0 in his last game. I have faith that we'll stay up because there's 3 teams worse than us, not because we're good. We should have gotten for Beto earlier. He wanted to leave Udinese since the summer, but that's it. I think it's one of those things where it's simple business, and unfortunately, the club's not good at simple business. That's the issue, and that's the problem we're running into. And I think that's going to continue to be a problem. And it really showed in this game. We were in a situation where we were, a different lineup, Calvert-Lewin being fit or something along those lines. Really, it changes the scenario so much for us. And you just look at it. If you look at the bench, Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey, Michael Keane, Yeremy, Ruben Vinagre. Look how many defenders we have on the bench. How are we meant to change a game with 5 defenders? Toby puts here. Wait a minute, let me just scroll up a little bit so I can see that. Feel like I'm in a 3-year-long dream. I'm always waiting for Calvert-Lewin to come and save the day. Well, that's it, isn't it? If that's the problem, isn't it? We're having to rely on someone that gets injured every 2 weeks. And is it? Dyche said they're looking at his lifestyle choices and things. Do I think that's going to change anything? No. Is it possibly not even a lifestyle problem? Is it a problem where he just has dodgy knees, dodgy ankle? Just like it's a thing with a lot of footballers. They've just got parts of their body that just aren't as strong as the others and can't keep up. So, we agreed personal terms with really quickly with Udinese, but we're stubborn and wouldn't let him go. Udinese was stubborn and wouldn't let him go 4 hours from the end of deadline day. Understandable from Udinese, though. Why were we waiting till deadline day to go in for him? Udinese probably looked at it and go, well, why should we give you our top goal scorer now when we've got no time to replace him? So it's like, I think, was the club's strategy to hope someone threw a fit on deadline day so we could get them for cheaper? Or was it they went, oh shit, we haven't thought about this, let's go now? I feel like it was the second, and I feel like, unfortunately, it's hard really to look at just the game and just what happened in the game without looking at the what ifs. The what if we had a striker, the what if someone who could actually finish their chances was in front of goal, and I think that's the case. I don't, like I said, I don't think we have been any different really than what we are now. Even with Calvert-Lewin, because I can't trust him to stay fit. He's, hopefully, like I said, this thing that I've just mentioned about Dyche looking at lifestyle changes something, but going in expecting that it's not going to help. Problem is that the board doesn't want to back. Doesn't want to back Lampard / Dyche, but they knew the team needed a striker regardless. That's it. But that's the thing that is, it didn't matter because let's look at the director of football. If the director of football is doing the job correctly, they should be lining up strikers. And even if we're going to sack the manager, well, we cross the ball a lot, so a big, physically dominant, aerially talented striker. Boom, boom, tick. There you go. And then Kevin Felwell, I don't want to slag the guy off because the board probably are helping him. You can't work a miracle, every season, but it should. And then obviously Kevin's probably had to help in the. Well, I didn't even see anything about him having a say in the managerial process. So is it another Marcel Brand situation? Probably, but where the board just gets involved too much. But it's one of those where if we had a striker, the result could have been different. We could have had a striker, and Villa could have been more clinical and pumped us 4-2. We lost Danjuma because we stacked Lampard. Why are we defending on the manager so much? To be honest with you, Danjuma's a good player, but up front was Danjuma going to score the goals? I know it's a thing where, and did we really want the attitude of someone like that at the club? I think you've got to take into part as well. Like if as soon as interest from another club comes in, he down tools and said, "See you later." Supposedly Dyche is a fell. I saw something where Tim Cahill recommended him as well. So I think if Dyche is a Felwell sign, then fair play. But then if Felwell had an idea Frank was going to go, which I think everyone did know Frank was going to go after that game, why was there not a list of strikers then there for a Dyche system or for someone along that lines? Because let's face facts, even if we would have got Danjuma as a goal-scoring winger, though, but I'm not going to. We can't rely on a goal-scoring winger to score the goals, and number 9 would to keep us up. I know there's Salah and stuff that scores the same amount of goals as a striker or Son and stuff like that. But I don't come in immediately assuming. I thought Danjuma would have been good and a striker on loan, which is why I thought we were going to bring him in on loan to give us the money. That boy puts it. Danjuma only scored 2 goals this season. I know Villarreal are not the most creative team; they don't create the most chances, but. I don't think Danjuma is the big what if, to be honest with you. I think an actual striker is the big what if for us, even if the players, because I don't think we could have signed a striker who's as good as a player that Danjuma is, don't get me wrong, but Ken Wright and Felwell was supposedly wanting Dyche and Mashiri. Yeah, don't surprise me. Mashiri's a mong. And I'm not giving Ken Wright any praise, all right? He's a mong as well, but Felwell, if they're letting him do his job, great, thank you. It took you long enough to realise what a director of football does, but I think we're in a situation now where is it too late to get a couple of strikers on a free? If not, why are we not looking? I don't know what's available, to be completely honest with you. If I have a look in a second, I just don't think there's many available right now, to be honest with you. So if I just don't think there's much available, to be completely honest with you, that's going to do any better of a job than what we've got already, to be completely honest with you. There is, I'm just looking at the names, and I don't think any of these lads are scoring goals, unless you want Joe back. This is currently the list we've got to work with of strikers who are currently available on a free, and I mean, which of them are going to score goals for us? You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, Gary, man, I just don't. There's a Canadian striker, 29. What is there? Ashley Barnes is he? No, Ashley Barnes is he's at Burnley, mate. He scored today. He scored today against Huddersfield. I don't know if he scored more than once, but yeah, he got a goal against Huddersfield today. Locadia, not okay to score us the goals to keep us up, mate. Like, Locadia is not doing anything for us. You know, it might be nice to have another option. Don't get me wrong, but, you know, I don't think so. You know, or is it a creativity thing? Is it, you know, for example, is it a we take a punt on Isco and see how it goes sort of thing, where maybe if there's a bit more creativity in midfield, we can do something. Callum, what? So my Everton man of the match, probably Dwight McNeil, to be honest with you. I think he offered some creative threat. I think he caused Mike have some real problems, and I think, you know, I think with a better option up front, then he probably gets himself an assist. But why? To be honest with you, with the Onana yellow card, someone else is going to tell me because I don't know. I was making myself something to eat and then turned around, and all of a sudden Onana had got a yellow card 3 minutes into the game. But with the ref, I think again it's Anthony Taylor making everything about himself. He's the most selfish man. He's the most selfish manager in that the most selfish referee that we've got right now in the English game. He's absolutely beside the other geezer on BT, he's terrible, but he hasn't been a referee for ages now. But yeah, I think again when Anthony Taylor referees a game, he makes it all about himself. It doesn't matter who he has. It's not biased against Everton. It's not biased for Aston Villa. The man is just incompetent at his job, which I don't think helps us. I think he likes to show when he's the referee of the game, and I don't think it is. Gary, criminal not bringing a striker in there the month, not just deadline. Bang on, mate. Bang on. We had all month to sign a striker, and don't get me wrong, right? You know, I look at, for example, Onuachu, someone we lost out on. He doesn't look good at Southampton, sorry, but at the same time, he's 6'8" and we play high crosses all the time. So saying that, and we're quite decent from set pieces. So it's a completely different story, but it's one of those where I don't know what Dyche does now. Does he go, well, we're crossing it all the time, we might as well play Sims and listen, give him a chance. Would you have taken Marko Arnautovic for 6 months? Yeah. For 6 months, 100%, I would have taken him. You know, the fella's got an ego, but I also think it's a prove himself thing. I think he's got enough of an ego to the point where he'll want to prove that he can still score goals in the Premier League, which I don't think he'd give a shit about Everton, to be completely frank with you. I don't think he'd have cared less. But for his own ego and for his own personal gain, yeah, I think he would have put some effort in because he would have wanted to prove a point. So, yeah, I would have taken him. I think but then again, the money we would have had to pay, they wanted like 15 mil for Arnautovic. Never. He's like 33. You should never be paying 15 plus million for like 33 plus year old footballers unless they are still still really good. You know, Jamie Vardy at 33 is a player where, yeah, I'm going to pay 15 million for him. Of course I am. But yeah, I think it's a thing. Was it a penalty also? I think so. I think it's. I think he gets a little touch of the ball, but again, at the same time, you know, I think it was a penalty. I think I don't think us saying, well, they shouldn't have been given that penalty changes it, because I think they still beat us even without that penalty. Because again, I still think they score. I still think eventually the Buendia sub comes, changes the game for them. We take all our creativity off in Iwobi, which again, that may be a place where another creative player could help. You know, all the creative load feels like it's on Iwobi and McNeil, because the fullbacks, just no offense to James Coleman, who, you know, obviously played well against Leeds and Arsenal, but Mikalenko especially just seems to just not offer enough creatively. And I don't know if that's the point where Dyche then looks and goes, do we change the formation and bring someone like an Isco in, or bring an Isco in to, it depends what Isco would do. Would Isco be happy to, Isco's available on a free right now, mate. He had a move to Union Berlin complete and it fell apart at the last minute, but I don't know why. I don't think it was because of medicals. I think it just fell apart. But again, just like we did with James Rodriguez, you know, I don't see why we can't. Obviously, I think James was a much better player than Isco was at any point in their career, but I just think it's one of those where, in the end, right now, is it really that bad taking a punt, taking a risk? Is that risk going to send us down? I don't think so. We're already in position to go down. You know, I don't think Isco can make us worse. I don't think there's a way on this planet Isco could make us worse. I know he's not a hard worker defensively, But even if that means he's an impact sub, a spark plug, someone who can come on and add that creativity we need, or if we're playing a team where, like we did against Leeds, where we're going to have the majority of the ball, it's nice to have him there. And, I know Dyche is no Ancelotti. Ancelotti made it work with James Rodriguez, but we're at a point now where I think you've got to start looking at these players who are available on a free and going, well, will that actually do a job for us? Because we need someone who can do a job right now. And I still think Isco's a very good player. And I think, he failed at Sevilla. But to be honest, everything was failing at Sevilla as of recently. So it's not that much of a blight on him that he didn't do a massive job at a club that's just been in absolute tatters as of recently. But 2-0, I think it was a disappointing score, but I think there were things to take from it. I think, I think with a DCL, I think, it might be dreamer thinking. I think we win that game. But it's one of those, really, isn't it? It's these games are going to happen, and there were multiple points at last season where we thought we lost the game and went, we're done now. Burnley, I remember when Burnley came back and packed us in, everyone was like, yeah, we're done now. So I do not believe we go down with Sean Dyche as the manager. I think he's already shown the massive improvement in the squad, and I think today the improvement was still there. The players were clearly talented, and if they're given an actual focal point of the attack to give the ball to, then maybe we'll score some goals. Hopefully, Ollie Sims can prove just the geezer scored absolutely bucket loads of goals for us at youth level. So hopefully, he's still got that. I'm not going to say we're going to go down. I aren't losing faith in the squad or anything. We're not going to win every game. It's annoying to win at home, especially with Arsenal away up next. But it is what it is, and it happens. So, like I said, I'm not really going to let it change my opinion on the fact that I think we're going to stay up, to be completely honest with you all. But I do apologise for the short stream, but I have actually got to go. If you did enjoy the stream, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Callum and follow the Toffee Blues on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully, we have a better game next game. Hopefully we can go to Arsenal and actually nick something from them. It'd be a massive thing this season in the position where Inter takes 6 points from Arsenal. Don't see it happening, but actually, it is what it is. Thank you all for watching, as I said. Thank you, Inky, for the nice words. And I'll see you all for the next video or stream that I'm on. Goodbye, everybody.